Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my maker cave. And today I'm going to get started on the zombie truck, the post-apocalyptic zombie vehicle. This vehicle has been on my mind since I decided to start doing it. I'm back out here in the maker cave and I want to start doing some assembly modifications, some body assembly. I want to start getting this truck put together and things like that. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use the majority of this truck. Now I am going to have to do some modifications. I am going to use the chassis to this truck, and I'm going to use the bed to this truck simply because I like the way it looks. I like that old look, and to attach this bed to this truck might look kind of cool, but I like the bed of the original bed to this truck, but we're gonna beef it up. So like I said, we are gonna have the dual, we are gonna have the dual tires on the back of each side. Have the smaller tires in the front. We're gonna beef this thing up a little bit, modify it, you know, have it kind of jacked up a little bit and looking awesome. So and naturally, that's just gonna happen naturally with these big beefy tires on the back. Sitting back here on the chassis and the small tires on the front. It's going to give it kind of that tilted look, and that'll look really awesome, and we're going to do a lot of modifications. I did find from an old toy this gun that is going to, I'm going to really make this thing look cool. Right now it's kind of a cheesy looking gun off of a toy. I'm going to disassemble it, paint it, grind some things off of it, add some things to it, and make this an awesome truck to set in the back of the bed of the zombie truck. So yeah, we're gonna get started. We're gonna start working on the chassis. We're gonna start putting things together and start putting the bed together and getting things together. So basically, we want to get the body of the truck built. I know I am gonna do the engine. I am gonna do some things like that. So when you open, you know, if you open the hood, or if I have the hood open or something, you will see the engine. I am going to do those details and have all that stuff in there. But today is just getting the body onto the chassis. I would like to get the wheels on there. I'd like to start seeing what this thing is going to look like to help me with ideas when I'm not when I'm not working on it, to help me figure out what I want to do, just to have a good visual of what this thing's going to look like. So when it comes to, you know, further detailing it, I can play around with ideas when I'm not in the maker cave working on it. So a lot of awesome things are going to happen to this zombie truck build. I call it zombie truck because it's just easier for me to say than post-apocalyptic. When I say that too fast, I really screw it all up. I say I can't even say it now. So anyway, zombie truck. It's going to be a zombie truck. So, and it's absolutely post-apocalyptic zombie truck with a gun in the back. There should be somebody back there just blasting zombies away. We're going to modify the front end of this thing, and maybe make it like almost like, not like a bulldozer, but you know, on the front of trains they have that comes to a point so you can just plow through snow. That's kind of what it's going to be like on the front of this. We're going to have it modify something, and I've got a bunch of pieces of acrylic. I used to be a sign maker, and I have a bunch of thin acrylic and different thicknesses of acrylic that you know, signs were printed on that I can sand down and paint up, and it doesn't really matter what's really on it. I can get rid of it. So yeah, I'll probably be using some of that to make this front end. We'll be using some of that to make it look like things are welded on. We're really going to weather this vehicle. Like I said before, think of Mad Max, or some of them images I showed in the prequel to the zombie, post-apocalyptic zombie vehicle. Think of that along those lines. It's going to kind of be rusted out, welded, just a mean machine to protect us from the zombies and the post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, I love zombie survival stuff. And if you haven't seen some of my H1Z1 videos where I go through Just Survive, go check those out. I love this type of stuff. Anyway, we're going to get started. So what I do have these little sanding sticks here. I have some of these sanding sticks. I have these tools that are for sculpting clay, but they got nice sharp points and things on them that I can use to help me, you know, in the build. I got a paintbrush. I got this modeling putty, and that's what some of these sculpting tools will be good for, is this modeling putty. I got a pair of tweezers. Of course, I've got this mesh material that I might use in the windows or something to make it look kind of, or just to have some mesh in there. I'm not sure if I'll use this or not, but I do have it. I have a Dremel tool, which is going to come in very handy. I have these clippers to help clip the pieces off of all the pieces off of the little mold that they're on that come with the model. Of course, modeling glue and a X-Acto knife, and that's some of the things I have. And of course, you have to have a monster drink for any build. Got to have one of those. So, yes, we are ready to start some assembly and start working on this, start getting the chassis together. I will probably look at the instructions on putting the bed together, since there is instructions. There's instructions on assembling the bed. Probably won't be too hard. And then putting everything on the chassis. This is going to have to be a little bit modified because, like I said, there's going to be two big old tires sitting back here, so I'm gonna have to do a little modification there on how that works out. So anyway, guys, we're gonna get started on putting some of this stuff together. Let's do it. Alrighty, YouTube. One thing I didn't plan is that this model build was going to take as long as it is. I thought that I could start slapping things together, and that's not the case. I'm using this Gorilla Glue, and that stuff takes forever to dry. But anyway, I've got a lot of things done. I've got the bed of the truck finished, and I've got the whole bed put together, and it was all the pieces. Like, it wasn't just a solid bed like this. That would have made life easier. And as I was putting the bed together, I thought, you know what, maybe I should just use this, modify it, glue the fender wells on there, But then I was like, you know, I want this truck to be the old truck, just modified. So with the big wheels, and it's going to look great. I know it's going to look great. It's just taking longer than I thought to. So I got the whole bed of the truck put together. I started on the inside. I did glue the bucket seats in instead of using the bench seat that originally came with the 67. The 67 had a bench seat. So I decided to put the bucket seats from the 84. It's a 57 step side and 84 GMC. So yes, so the 84 GMC had bucket seats. I decided to glue those in instead of the bench seat. And I started on the chassis, getting the chassis put together. I started on the engine, doing some of the things with the engine. So here is my plan on this build. I'm going to do a lot of this construction outside of episode. Any major construction, anything major, but a lot of this stuff's going to get done outside of episode, and assembly is going to get done outside of episode, so I can start doing a lot of the detailing and things that you guys really want to see. So you want to start to see this truck start coming to a completion. So the coolest part of the build is going to be when I start painting it and weathering it and modifying it with the guns and the things, and adding like the plates that look like they're welded on and different things. So we do have the bed of the truck pretty much complete. This is still obviously drying, and that's going to go on here naturally. And then this thing is going to be setting kind of like this, because we're going to have the big wheels in the back, smaller wheels in the front, and it's going to look pretty cool once we get to that point. But I'm working with two different model kits. I am modifying. I have to modify the chassis a little bit. I have to do a few modifications. I did some modifications to the carriage where, you know, where the seats and stuff are. I have to do a little bit of modding to get this thing to work properly, but when it's done and once we get the paint job done and everything, this thing's going to look amazing. I can promise you that. It's just getting to that point. I don't know if I want to record that whole process. I don't know if I want to record the process of actually building this whole thing. What I want you to see is as it's starting to be painted and put together, and so I'm going to get the big bulk. I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to get the big bulk of the assembly out of the way so we can see the really cool stuff happening. So there you have that. So I mean, we're getting further along. We're getting further along. We're getting there, and this is going to look epic, guys. I promise you how this is going to look so cool. Especially the paint job. When you get to the painting and weathering and making this thing look awesome, plus modifying it with weapons, and I'm gonna get other weapons and things to kind of come out of the side of the truck, you know, like maybe where the mirror's supposed to go, there'll be like a gun there. I'm gonna do stuff like that also. So yeah, so I mean, this build is gonna take a little while. This is gonna go through quite a few episodes, but I'm going to try to shorten that by getting a lot of the little things, the little intricate things. Like building this chassis is ridiculous. There's a lot of little parts that go on in here. Building the motor, I mean, those are things you don't need to see. So that type of stuff is going to get done outside of episode, and the really cool stuff in episode. I know you understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. I am going to end my build for today, and probably start working on some of this little by little, so next week I can put up another video of more progress. Anyway, guys, I thank you so much for coming to the Steve Tooley channel. I thank you so much for watching this episode inside my maker cave, and I will see you in the next one.